What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. My name is Fortani Zimbu. I am back again here for another YouTubean video concern all of us African and all the diaspora and all my brothers and sisters from American, all the European blacks, everywhere we are. You know what? I speak about things that, majority we are comfortable with, because I believe we need to speak about our history. We need to speak about what is part of us, especially the struggle, because I know black people everywhere we are, we struggle the most. This is why I speak about colonization, slavery, discrimination, and racism, because us black people, we are the most hated race in the world. It doesn't matter whatever color of skin of people they look like around you, even if they can be your Chinese friend, Mexican, Indian, whoever they are, Latino, whatever race they are, just put it like this. If it a white person, it can hate you as much. And us black people, we need to know that other race, they hate you more than even the white people, they hate you. Donald Trump can be friends and collaborate with the Arabic and the Middle East people. He can do that. Hate the African. Donald Trump hate the African and he hate the black American at the same way to hate blacks everywhere. So what I talk about, because I want our young people, especially black young men and female, they need to understand that knowing where you came from and where you're going is very important. Because us black people, we like to try to ignore the past or trying to forget. Because I see, especially us Africans, though, especially majority of young black men and female that I know, we move to the European country. What we tend to try to do to forget. We love to try to forget our past. It's like Africa is no longer exist in our brain. It's like we forget, we tend to forget all the struggle. And it's bad. Black America, majority of them, they know because they struggle every day in that country, in America. The country that they call home, because that's what they know. They don't know nothing about Africa. We can only teach them Africa, what it is, what it was, but they don't know what Africa it was or what it is. I speak about the struggle of Africa. I speak about the struggle of us black because I know what our black person is struggling in America or Australia or in Germany or in France or in England or, Italy, whatever country, black people that we are, we're struggling the same. It might be a different situation, but we're struggling the same. We struggle in financial, economic. We struggle to unite it, to be together. We struggle in education. We struggle to to improve in so many different areas of knowledge that are needed for us. If you go to a lot of countries in Europe, and you will find less doctor for in black community. You will find the struggle of black in jobs. You will find struggle for development, especially when it comes in school as well. Even our children, they trying to learn in peace because you have this sick disease of sycophant of people that when they see black people, even in school, even when they're walking, by themselves or we've been going, you have sick disease. I call that is a disease. Racism is a disease. It's a disease that because I believe parents give birth to themselves. Parents, they give birth to themselves because racism, look at this. I pulled this video here on my comment so we can see. I'm gonna keep playing Malcolm X, learning from Malcolm X, because I believe he taught us a lot. White people and the rest that they hate us, they have this disease. It's like they see us as a threat. We are not threat to anyone. We are not threat to anyone. We're not violent people. But violence, it was brought to us. Violence was brought to the African nation country. Violence was brought to the American. The American, whatever they do to try to survive is because they put them in the zone, in that zone where there's no way, the people that hate us the most. Even if you see this Mexican American, the Latino, the Cuban, all of them people, that we're gonna bring this kind of disease. Cool, let me hate this person. They call Black America lazy. They call the African lazy. We kind of name, but you know what we do? We don't do that to them. Black America, they've been suffering for generation. Black America, they've been alone to the struggle to survive, just to live, just to be seen, because they didn't ask for what has happened to the ancestor, to themselves as well. Even until this day, we're talking. This day, I'm talking like this. It's still happening to Black America. They still go through the struggle, the ancestor. Look, we really need to give, we need to have a good memory to remember Black America's ancestors. They're my ancestors as well. Because I know majority of them, they came from the land that it was the land of, Garden of Eden. I believe Africa, it is the Garden of Eden. That's why you can see in the former, anywhere possible, what people they want the continent to be called, not to develop in certain way. They want other to develop, but not us, Africa. It's a pretender when they say, Africa, you can do whatever. But do you know who's holding the card? It's them. They have all the weapons. They have the military. We're struggling to still build the military until this day. Go to African country. We're struggling. We're building, but it's a struggle. The same when you're seeing where Black America they came from, the struggle from the ancestor to fight for what? Just to survive, just to be seen. The last struggle is the same in Africa. You have the European holding the call. African people just to speak up, to stand up, to be strong in their country as one. They bring violence. So African nation, they bring that diseases now. Let us divide them so they cannot conquer. They have some, fear in them that they always feel like we're gonna, bring some revenge on them for what they have done to us. Can you see that? It's a consciousness that it goes deep to them. That's why they have to be the way they are to us. That's why I'm gonna play Malcolm X. So we're gonna try and see, what my king here is gonna say, because I like to learn from Malcolm X because he's a great brother. So let me just let's go and play Malcolm X here. Let's go, brother Malcolm X.
Who is being hung on a tree simply because he struggles vigorously against his lyncher. The victim is accused of violence, but the lyncher is never accused of violence. And I only point this out because the various racist groups that are set up in this country by whites and who have actually practiced violence against blacks for 400 years are never associated or identified or made synonymous with the term violence. But whites speak of Muslims almost synonymously with violence. Whenever Muslims are mentioned by them, violence is brought up, but it's not connected with any other group. This is a sort of a propaganda tactic, or what I would call psychological warfare, to in some way make the image of the Muslims in this country be a violent image rather than a religious image.
Like Malcolm X just said over there, they have that propaganda of they look at him. Like he's talking rather this white guy here, another hypocrite. I just don't want to hear what he's gonna try to say because it's nonsense. It's really nonsense because it's not gonna try to make any difference to anything. Brother Malcolm was gonna say.
I think don't believe in any form of integration. and and believe that every mention of the word integration by whites, whether it be from the mouth of Kennedy on down to the mouth of the lowest, raggediest white liberal in the street who is beatnik-like involving himself in these integration efforts, if we believed in it, we would integrate and we would fight anybody who got in our way or made any effort whatsoever to stop us from integrating. If we really believed that the law of the land, the Supreme Court, and other so-called judicial bodies were for real when they talked about integration, we would integrate. And knowing that the law was on our side, and any effort we made to demonstrate toward integration, why, we would know the law should be on our side if it's the law of the land. If it is the law of the land, then the demonstrators are within the law, and the discriminators are against the law. But to show you the hypocrisy of the law, when Negroes demonstrate for integration, instead of arresting the discriminators, the law arrests the demonstrators. So this
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry just to say to cut down, ladder. Let me
is
just
a
carry on.
foolish move on the part of Negroes. And when you foolishly get yourself involved with an enemy, then whatever comes upon you, that's your business. As Muslims,
Can you see that? Malcolm was talking about this. This is 1963. And can you see what Malcolm is talking here? If you listen to Patrice Lumumba, in 1960, Patrice Lumumba was talking to, in independence days. He said, similar thing what Malcolm said here. The people that are aggressive, they're not getting arrested. Can you see this? The people that are aggressive, until this day in 2025, in America, Black people, if they protest, they're not making any violence. Can you see? Look at what happened in January 6th in Washington, D.C. There was a lot of white people that went over there. They broke the capital city. Imagine that capital city that was Black people. Do you know how many people that they're gonna be unalive? Their prophecy that is what goes on in America. That's why you can see Julian Malema. He said the genocide is happening in America. Donald Trump is thinking of it. There's a genocide going on in South Africa when there is none going on over there to them white farmer. But in America, there's genocide against the Blacks. And you see the hypocrite that is in America. America is the biggest gangster country ever. It's the most hypocrite country ever. And they call America superpower. They can't even treat his own citizen right. And Donald Trump, he's cussing Africa in so many ways. While his own country is full of immigration. There's 65 million Hispanic, Mexican, Cuban people in America, inside America. Black, they get unalive every single day. I'm not going to say every week, every single day. There's Black boys, Black men and women who are being chased by the police and the dog. And you have all this KKK. They always have something. They're planning a harm. They will just come from nowhere just to, torture Black people for no reason. Just because they have that disease, that hate in them. And you know who gets involved as well? People that they call Mexican, the Latino, the Cuban, because they have that hate for themselves. So they want to reflect that to the Black. They will get, that's why when I see in the internet, Black people that they're trying to help the Mexican, the Latino, the Cuban, the Indian, in that country, in America, you're fooling yourself. You shouldn't get involved. Don't get involved in their affair. We don't care. You shouldn't care about them. You shouldn't care. Black people in America don't care. Whatever Trump is doing to them people, whatever the government in the America is doing to the immigration in that country, is they're all doing. They vote for Trump. They vote for Donald Trump. They should thank Trump for whatever he's doing. You vote for dictatorship in that country because do you know why? Because you have the hate for the black. That's why you vote for Donald Trump, because to you, you want a Trump to tolerate against the black. That's why you vote for Donald Trump. And now it's happening to your family. It don't make any sense. You came from a country, them country. There's a lot of Mexican that will run away from Mexican, crossing the border to America from half from Cuban, you know, and all them Venezuela country, they're coming from America. But you know how they treat black America? Oh my, bad, bad. So imagine if you're African. If you're African. That's why we need to speak up. Black people, the same pain that is happening to Black America, we need to stick together. This is what Malcolm X was talking. We need to come together. It doesn't matter where you are Black. If you're African, you need to be behind Black America. When I see African people, African like me, speaking against Black America, it pisses me off. Don't be against Black America, no matter what. You need to help them. Even if they don't want help, we have to stick with them. Because what is going to happen to them is keep happening to them. It's going to happen to you. That's why, you know, we need to come together. So we're going to speak about anything that is going to come next. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate if y'all can like and subscribe, share, you know. I'm trying to make all of this because it's only for education purpose, you know, because we need to learn from the past, you know, because it can only make us so we can be smart, so we can adapt in certain way. The mistake that we've been making, so we can try to correct them. Because, you know, people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Patrice Lumumba, you know, and King, Marcus Messiah Garvey, he left a lot of things for us to learn. We need to stop betraying one another. Let's betray others, but not ourselves. We can't afford to keep betraying us Black people ourselves. It shouldn't be like that. I'll catch you guys to the next one. Peace.